3, 6, even 9 inches of unwanted belly fat. The wait is over. Call today, 223-5885. That's 223-5885. The Slam Body Laser Spa. The wait is over. You're listening to WSTU Stewart.
The opinions expressed are those of the show's host and not the staff or management of Port St. Lucie Broadcasters. Any reproduction without written consent of WSTU and WPSL is strictly prohibited. Now it's time for Quality of Life Radio, brought to you by Cigna and Aetna Medicare. Here are your hosts, Gary Owen and Tom Bouvier.
Hello and good morning, Treasure Coast and the rest of the world. We know there are 47 countries tuning in, so we thank all of you that are here on the Treasure Coast, in the state of Florida, and around the world. You're listening to the world-famous Quality of Life radio show. Today is August 9th, 2023. We thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Gary Owen.
And I'm your co-host, Tom the Bouvier.
The Boov is in the house, and we've got a special guest in the house this morning. We're excited to have him, and we'll introduce John here in just a moment. Tomorrow's a big night, by the way, so for those of you that are tuning in who are our clients, we look forward to seeing you at our big, awesome, wonderful client appreciation dinner at the Flagler Center from 5 to 8 p.m., and it's our 5-year anniversary that we're celebrating as well, in tandem with our client appreciation party. So we're looking forward. I think, Tom, we have about 170 RSVPs so far, so it's going to be a busy night. It's going to be great.
And not only about our clients, who we love very much, but, Gary, we reached the 5-year mark. And what's the saying for businesses?
5 years, buddy.
Yeah, 3 to 5 years, if you can make it. Gary, I think we're going to make it.
I think we got 2 months to go. So we're celebrating 2 months early, but we can't celebrate in October. October 1st is our 5-year anniversary. Hint. But we can't celebrate during the month of October or November because why? It's a crazy time of year.
It's called open enrollment.
Yeah, Medicare AEP is upon us. So.
And Marketplace in November.
And by the way, if you want to come to our party tomorrow, sorry, we are sold out. Not sold out because it's free, but we're jammed up.
I'll sneak in.
We're jammed up. Well, yeah, maybe 100. Yeah, maybe a C note. Slide Tom a C note. Maybe we'll let you in anyway. Yeah. But it's going to be a great time. We're looking forward to it. Tom, we're here every Tuesday morning. Why?
Gary, we are here every Tuesday morning. We love to bring relevant content to our listeners. And so please listen in and stay tuned the whole show because we bring information that can really help your life. Secondly, we love to support and showcase local business owners, nonprofit organizations, wonderful people, public servants who we have today. We're going to be introducing in a moment. And last of all, Gary, you and I, we love to educate and bring information about insurance planning options that can help improve the quality of life of our listeners. And that's why we call the radio show Quality of Life.
Absolutely. And we want to thank, we had some new clients that came in yesterday, worked with Kathy in the office. She said the reason why she's here yesterday, why I'm here in the office, is because I hear you on the radio show and wasn't sure what to do. I was confused. You guys brought clarity to us, so that's why I'm here. And this is what we do, man. I mean,
relevant content
absolutely
that really changes people's lives. We love it.
So we're going to share with you today. We're going to introduce John here in just a second. We're going to share a fun health fact later on in the show, and then we're also going to share with you 10 fun facts about the Treasure Coast. So we're going to get John, we're going to put him on the hot seat and see just how much he knows about the Treasure Coast. Well, of course, the answers are easy. So we made it easy on him this morning. And then after that, we're going to talk a little bit, Tom, about the new 2023 Part D premiums, out-of-pocket costs, deductibles, what's happening with drug pricing, and then we're also going to talk about the Part B premiums. Are they going to go up, or are they going to go down, or are they going to stay status quo? We're going to let you know later on in the show. But it's my distinct honor and privilege to introduce to you the world's most handsome guy. And not only does he own a small business, actually it's a larger business than I have, so I would say it's almost a large business, but he's also our Florida State Representative, John Snyder from District 82. Good morning, my friend.
Well, good morning, Gary. Good morning, Tom. And first of all, let me start by saying thank you so much for having me back again. Always great to be here on the Quality of Life radio show. But more importantly, congratulations on the 5-year mark. That is a huge deal. You're right on the mark, Tom. That's one of the key metrics for success of a business to get to that point. And it is our small businesses that are the backbone of our community. Yes. And so just thank you for what you do and for being that liaison between consumers and insurance carriers, because if that's one thing I've learned sitting on the insurance and banking subcommittee, insurance really is a maze. And so the importance of having a local agent that you can trust to help you navigate those waters, especially in today's marketplace, it's never been more important.
That's spot on, man. And we are passionate about what we do because we see seniors getting messed up a lot. There's a lot of nefarious and bad actors out there that are trying to take care of, try to take advantage not only of our seniors, but of us. I mean, we're getting calls and scam calls almost daily. It's crazy. So, and I'm glad to have a connection on your committee, because that is great, because there are some crazy things I'm going to ask you later on in the show. If you've heard about this, I'm going to share it with my audience. It's going to really change the dynamics of how we do business as a small business, as independent agents, and it's going to affect our clients. So that's on a national level. So, I mean, I know you may not be aware of it, but I'm going to, who knows, maybe one day John Snyder may be our United States representative. So, I mean, that might be a great possibility. That will really have a connection.
Don't wish that on me, Gary, please.
Oh, why Representative President John Snyder? Sounds good.
All right, my friend.
I knew him back in the day.
Back in the day when I was short.
I got his coin.
So thank God there is a booster seat, because, Yeah. Actually, John lowered his seat. I had to raise my seat so we could be kind of even looking. By the way, we have Patty Marchese in the house this morning in the studio. She's taken professional photography. And so if you need anybody or you need someone to help with photography, Patty is your gal. So thank you, Patty, for stopping by this morning. And she'll also be by tomorrow at our big event at the Flagler Center for our customer appreciation. John, why don't you tell us a little bit about you, yourself, your family, your business, before we go into what's going on in the state of Florida?
Oh, well, thanks, Gary, and love to talk about my family. That's a big part of my why and sure, why I do what I do. So for those of you that might not know me, again, my name is John Snyder, and I represent the northern portion of Palm Beach County and about the southern half of Martin County. And I was born and raised right here on the Treasure Coast in Martin County. I've been here just about all my life, except for my time in college and the Marine Corps, which thankfully I was stationed out in San Diego, so I've always been fortunate to live just a quick drive from the beach. But after I got out of the Marine Corps and came back home, one of the things that I quickly realized was trying to raise a family, trying to operate a business. You realize that sometimes the heavy hands of government can really be get in the way of trying to pursue the American dream. You realize our school systems, our roads, everything that we sometimes can take for granted, all is controlled either through local, state, or the federal government. And so instead of sitting on the sidelines, answered the call and ran for office 2 years ago, and it's been the time of my life getting the opportunity to serve my community and give back in this kind of way.
We're glad you did, John, and the redistricting brought your representation up where we are, just north of the Roosevelt Bridge, right? You're just barely there. You and Toby are bordering, I think, what is it, right where the Target is, that area? North Stewart?
Yeah, the lines can get a little jagged, but right along Jensen Beach Boulevard, and then down across US 1 into Rio. Yep, and then down into Palm City, Stewart, Hope Sound, and quite a bit of Martin County after redistricting.
Yeah, I was looking at the lines, and how do you know when you're on his district, and how does he know when you? Because it is crazy how it's. how the lines are jagged like they are.
So Toby and I actually, the last 2 years, had the privilege of sitting next to each other on the house, and so that's one of the beautiful things of being from the Treasure Coast. We have a wonderful delegation that gets along in a great way, and so we always have a saying: when you call either office, neither one of us ask, where do you live, who's your representative? So anybody in Martin County in the Treasure Coast could call either one of us anytime.
Yeah, we love
Beautiful.
that. Listen, not only are you a great man, you come from a great family, great upbringing, but you truly represent the citizens here on the Treasure Coast extraordinarily well. So we appreciate all that you do. And you're always there to pick up the phone, to listen, to answer calls. And so we recognize that, and we truly appreciate you for that.
Well, thanks, Gary. And I look at my role as a state representative really as customer service, customer service helpline. My office and my staff do a wonderful job because when we're not in session, and that's the beautiful thing about Florida, we have a part-time legislature. I don't think that career politicians were necessarily part of the founding fathers' intent. And so here in Florida, we practice that. We go into session for 60 days. Then we come back and work here in our communities. But the work doesn't stop. So just because I go back to my day job doesn't mean that the constituent needs stop. And so our office, we're handling anything from homeowners questions to concerns with veteran access to care, navigating, again, the maze of government. And so that's really been the fun part of the job, actually working with constituents to try and help navigate, because oftentimes by the time they've called our office, frustration levels are usually pretty high, and so to be able to use our resources to give back to the community, really hats off to my team, Sarah and Kathy. And so I want to make sure as we go throughout the program today, we get our office line out there. And so that way, if any of your listeners ever need to access our office for any reason, they can call us at 772-210-5626. Again, that's 772-210-5626. And that's what we're here to do, is help in any way that we can.
That's awesome. So we're going to take our first break of the show. I'm going to let Evan know we're probably going to forego the second commercial. So we'll just do one commercial today. We've got a lot to talk about this morning. And so when we come back, I'm going to ask Representative Snyder what is the most challenging part of his job and the most fun part of his job. You're listening to the You're listening to the world's famous Quality of Life radio show on WSTU 1450 AM and WPSL 1590 AM and on Facebook Live. So if you're driving to your office right now, you're driving home, you don't want to sit in your car to listen to this great show, go to Facebook, follow us at Quality of Life radio show. We'll be right back.
Insurance Group. We are a local independent insurance agency located right here on the Treasure Coast. I've been a resident here for 34 years and have helped thousands of clients with their insurance planning needs. We specialize in life, health, and Medicare insurance planning. Don't travel the road alone. Let us be your guide. We are the Owen Insurance Group. Contact us today at 772-210-1020 or visit our website at oweninsurancegroup.net.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jensen Beach, Hope Sound, Martin County's Heritage Station.
All right, welcome back to the Quality of Life radio show. I'm your host, Gary Owen, and we have with us in the studio Florida Representative John Snyder from District 82. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, John, is what is the most challenging part of your job as a state representative? And then conversely, what is the most fun part of your job and the most enjoyable part?
Well, one of the things we started to talk about earlier, Gary, is my family. I'm about to celebrate my 14th wedding anniversary with my wife, Brittany.
Congrats.
And together we have our two daughters, Elizabeth and Reagan, 2 years old and 11 years old. So we've got quite a spread in our household. And so
The apple of their granddaddy's eye.
no doubt, no doubt. So it's funny to see some of the role reversal of, grandparent spoiling versus a child. And actually, I heard an interesting quote today. I don't know how scientific it is, but it basically said if you raise your if you raise your kids right, you'll be able to spoil your grandkids. If you spoil your kids, you'll be raising your grandkids. Yeah. And so my dad is definitely in the spoil the grandkids phase right now. And so kind of getting back to your question, when you leave for session in that 60-day sprint, that right off the bat is got to be the most difficult thing for me. But having deployed once to Afghanistan, my wife has said, I think I could put up with Tallahassee. That's a little less hostile, but sometimes it makes you wonder. But I would say, aside from that, one of the most challenging things is really, it's by design. It's trying to work the legislative process. As somebody who comes from the business world, you love to be able to say, hey, this is a great idea. Let's go. Let's implement it and get it moving. However, in government, and again, this is by design, having to not have the ability to be an executive in the legislative process. You can't just, on your own take good ideas and get them into law. It takes, multiple committees working with other representatives, both Republican and Democrat alike, from Pensacola to the Keys. And you realize, here in this very diverse state where if you peeled Florida out from the rest of the nation, our economy on its own, we would be, it's usually somewhere between 15th and 17th largest economy in the world. We have over 22.5 million people, and we're growing every day. And so to try and find one-size-fits-all approaches can be a difficult process. And so, an example just in the last couple of years where, again, I think the process works well is, just because in the first year a bill that you file doesn't become law, that doesn't mean you give up. That's one of my favorite sayings in the process is a bill only dies when you stop filing it. And so one of the bills I focused on right from the beginning was around public safety. I think we've all seen on Facebook or some of the signs here in Martin County. We're very proud of our public safety. I believe we have one of the best sheriffs in the country.
We do.
And so we take that seriously, that this is the wrong exit for traveling criminals who think that they can come up from throughout the state and target what they might believe is a bedroom community. And so in the first year, my traveling criminals penalty enhancement bill was not successful. So we tweaked some of the language. Big shout out to this time around, I partnered with Senator Gail Harrell. She was my Senate sponsor, who has been a longtime public servant here on the Treasure Coast. But we were able to take a different approach, really turn that challenge into one of the fun parts of the job, is really figuring out how do you navigate roadblocks, how do you kind of take that no today, either work someone through facts and trying to get them to see your point of view, to turn that no into a yes, and find different avenues to get legislation that matters. And so today, part of, and that's where, again, I would say a really fun experience was working the traveling criminals bill. We just recently had the governor sign that bill into law and really give our prosecutors some additional enforcement mechanisms. So when bad individuals say we're going to target this area, there's now a penalty enhancement with that type of behavior all throughout the state.
We love that. I mean,
That's
it's
great.
great to see these scumbags get handcuffed and go to jail and answer for their crimes.
So
and then
no
that be a
hoarding
message.
invaders in Martin County.
No, come on down
Or
to
St.
Martin
Lucie
County. No, come on
the
down.
whole Treasure Coast, stay
Come
away.
on down. You're going to get
right.
caught. So if you want to
Yes,
get
you
caught,
will.
come on down to Martin County.
Free room and board by Uncle Sam.
Free room and board. We love that. So there are a lot of challenges, and a lot of adversities. And to your point, yes, Florida is very diverse. But oh my God, is it so divisive in politics in Florida? Not only just Florida, but the whole country. So today, be able to go across the aisle and work together for the greater good of our state. That's what you got to do. So
yeah, one of the things that we like to point out is that Tallahassee is not Washington, D.C. I will say we are blessed. I think we've got, again, one of the best congressmen in the nation who represents the Treasure Coast here, and Brian Mast. But when you look at the gridlock that unfortunately has just become the new norm, nothing seems to get done. And in Tallahassee, one of the things that won't often get reported in the news is that nearly 70% of the legislation we passed in this last session was unanimous. That means every Republican, every Democrat, we don't have any independents in the House, voted for it. Almost 90% of the legislation that we passed had bipartisan support. However, when we get into that 10%, I will say there are some very stark differences, and that's part of the reason why, in the last couple of years, especially Florida has become such a beacon for individuals who want to seek out a place where they can live, where they can worship freely, where they can trust that when they send their children to school, that it's not going to be indoctrination they receive. It's actual sound, solid, content-rich education. This is a place where we're proud to have some of the best infrastructure in the world, but we also have no income tax. And so fighting for these principles, fighting for what makes that difference in the 10% certainly is a big effort, but we're thankful to have Governor DeSantis at the helm, and it's been an exciting experience to work in support of his agenda.
Fantastic. So one of the issues that I'm really super passionate about is our water quality, right? So, in fact, we're going to talk about the Treasure Coast and the top 10 fun facts about the Treasure Coast. And one of those is the Indian River Lagoon, right, which is one of the most biodiverse estuaries in the entire Northern Hemisphere.
That's right.
And what's happening to our water is just I can't put into words because it's disgusting, quite frankly. And we've got to make sure. And I appreciate what you're doing and Representative Mast is doing in Congress to make sure that the discharges don't happen. We know it's going to happen. We know it's being reduced. But what's your take on where are we going with this for this year and next year?
Yeah, I would say without a doubt that's one of the things. Growing up here, and when I look to my own daughter. I remember what it was like to do the field trip into the Indian River Lagoon, and you learn the St. Lucie Shuffle, and you see the diversity of our wildlife. And now when she went and did that same field trip, she had to sign a waiver and release form, multiple, of course we had to sign it, multiple pages, and they basically looked at the wading pond and said, this is what it should look like, kids. But what I would say is for the first time in a long time, I believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Not only has Representative Mast, and I don't think he gets enough credit on this, that has raised the issue at the federal level, working with the Army Corps of Engineers and who actually control the discharge amounts. It's the quantity flow. The relationship that he built with Ron DeSantis when they were both fellow congressmen, that cannot be understated, because when Ron DeSantis took the helm as governor, which nobody saw that coming, he leaned on Brian Mast to be one of his chief advisors on water quality. And what we've seen is, really campaign promises that were made that have been kept. When we came out of this, or went into the beginning of legislative session, Governor DeSantis, in his initial budget proposal, said he wanted to see $1 billion allocated towards Everglades restoration and water quality projects. When we came out of the legislative session, it ended up the price tag was almost $3 billion allocated towards Everglades restoration and these water quality projects. And we see them working south of the lake. We've seen multiple projects where the state has actually said, thanks, but no thanks, federal government. We'll foot the bill on our own because what we had seen is the federal government continuing to just drag their feet when we talk about the inability of Congress to act and budget the dollars that get held up in these budget hearings. The state said, we've got the cash, let's pay for it on our own. And we now have multiple projects that are working. We can see with our own eyes the difference in the water quality just in these last couple of years. And really, the decision makers at every level of government, whether it be the Army Corps of Engineers, South Florida Water Management District, Department of Environmental Protection, every governmental agency knows about the Treasure Coast and our water efforts here. And again, really it's our grassroots who deserves the credit for that, because for our little community to make the noise that we have made and really make the difference that we have, that's why we can see, again, with our own eyes, how the water is today. But we know we're only one bad rain season away from, again, the discharges. So that really the solution comes back to, we've got to continue focusing on sending the water south, utilizing our new reservoir that's south of Lake Okeechobee. We must continue to explore storage north of the lake and really look at the water quality of the water that's being fed from the Kissimmee into the Lake Okeechobee. And so this is definitely a comprehensive problem that takes a comprehensive solution. But I do believe locally, state, and federally, everyone's dialed in, and we're actually seeing light at the end of the tunnel for our waterways.
Glad to hear that, because we need it, our children need it, and our children's children need it.
That's right.
The next thing, which is really big, you guys had to have a special session on this, is
property insurance.
Property insurance.
Oh, boy.
That is a great
I'm glad we do health insurance, Gary.
Yeah, I can tell you our property insurance, without a doubt, is contributing to really what we're experiencing throughout South Florida, a major concern for affordable housing. For all segments of our community, especially our service industry, our teachers, our law enforcement professionals, and how we function as a society, really, I believe, hinges on our ability to make sure that we have good places to live within our community that are truly affordable. And one of the contributing factors to that has been property insurance. We know a couple of things here in the state of Florida. We are a storm state, and so while we have been hit, thankfully, and knock on wood, and you hate even having this kind of conversation this type of year, we've been blessed here locally to have dodged the bullet. But when we look at the global insurance market and how the reinsurance market and some of these global industry factors weigh into our cost of our insurance, we get put in this big bucket of Florida. And so a couple of things, to that point, we know that our storm history negatively impacts us, but we certainly in the last couple of years have seen a spike, and you touched on this earlier. The fraud in the homeowners market really is excessive, and it's out of control. We know that here in the state of Florida, we're responsible. Some of these numbers vary, but you can think of it this way. We make up about 20% of the homeowners insurance claims across the country, but we're responsible for about 80% of the litigation. So that means someone who is suing their homeowner's insurance company. And what often happens is the consumer or the homeowner doesn't even realize that they are in a lawsuit with their insurance carrier. We see, and this is, again, big public service announcement, aside from about Girl Scout cookies, door-to-door salesmen are a bad thing. And what we've seen is a cottage industry of contractors, a lot of times from out of the state, who are teaming up with a small selection of trial attorneys and literally going door to door after a storm event, canvassing a neighborhood, offering a free roof. And basically the pitch goes like this: if you sign here, we'll go to work directly with your insurance carrier. You won't have to touch a thing. And next thing you know, what should have been maybe a couple $1,000 roof claim turns into a $200,000 claim with attorney's fees. And I want to be clear, the insurance companies definitely have a role in some of this. We've worked, and what we did in special session is trying to bring some transparency to the marketplace, but there is really unanimous agreement, even from our Office of Insurance Regulation, that excessive litigation is the key driver to what we're experiencing. And so we did pass a measure to ban the ability for that kind of sign off for a consumer to just immediately hand over litigation power to a third party, and also made it clear to the insurance carriers that you cannot just arbitrarily cancel a consumer just because their roof is 15 years old. Now, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen some craftiness on how some of the carriers have approached that particular rule. But I'll say this. What we did in this special session was probably more of the tourniquet analogy. We're trying to stop the bleeding in the marketplace. But as we look towards this upcoming session, we've got to really look at tort reform, at some major transparency overhauls with pricing, and really how consumers are able to see exactly what their risk profile is and how that equates to their premiums. And so still a lot of work to be done, but I'm hopeful to make it back on insurance and banking and continue the fight.
Great. Where do you think most of these attorneys reside that are filing these claims, these suits?
Yeah, I mean, we can see it on the heat map. There's a concentration down in the Miami-Dade area,
that's right.
Up in Orange County, and really, that's what's driving, unfortunately, this effort is just this kind of sue and settle approach. And at the end of the day, our parents always told us there is no such thing as a free lunch. So anybody that tells you I can get you a free roof, that's where, again, call your local agent. Call a local, if you need to involve a third party, an insurance adjuster. We have plenty through our chambers of commerce. So reach out to your local community, because again, the door-to-door salesman approach is not good for you, and it's definitely not good for our insurance market.
And they're also sending emails. I mean, I've gotten several emails from roofing companies that wants to come by and inspect my roof and offer me a free roof. So, I can't say how my response was on the air here, but it's crazy
you told
what's
them.
going on. Did I tell them? But anyway, real quick, what is one other thing that you're working right now on that may affect your constituents that you're passionate about? Anything?
Yeah, really there's a number of things. My primary focus right now, I bring it back to education, Gary. I think so much of what we see in our country today is really just a result of a failure in so many ways of our education system. I think one of the things that we did here in Florida to say thank you to our teachers who are putting everything they have into the classrooms to say we will continue to increase your salaries. For the longest time, Florida was in the bottom half of the nation when it came to our starting teacher salaries. Sure. And that was a failure on our part, and something that Governor DeSantis has made an initiative of his right off the gate to make sure we continue to attract top talent to be in the classroom. 250 years ago, in the early days of America, the two most revered professions were pastors and teachers, and unfortunately today, neither one of those get the respect that they deserve. Another area we failed our kids is in our literacy rates. We brag, unfortunately, about being a top reading state in the nation, which is great. But when our reading scores are only 52%, that's still an F in my book.
Sure.
And we're seeing, again, unfortunately, where in the zip codes where the income status is the lowest, unfortunately, that's where the attention for schools gets the least amount of attention. And so we have failed our inner city kids, and we've handcuffed our teachers' ability to teach. And so one of the things, again, we did just this year was we repealed the FSAs, the standardized testing. Again, one size approach does not fit all, and it created a system where our teachers were having to teach to the test and not actually teach content. And so now we're moving to a progress monitoring where we're able to more quickly identify where a student is struggling or excelling, so we can get them into the right type of curriculum path, and again allow our educators to do what they do best. So I could keep going on education, but as we look for ways in the legislature to continue to empower parents, not just through transparency and curriculum, but with choice for strong educational options, those are areas that I know we can continue to move the needle, and certainly will be a focus of mine.
Yeah, shout out to our teachers, because they really do a lot. They sacrifice a lot. They take money from their own personal accounts to buy supplies for their children and so forth. So we want to say thank you to all of our teachers out there. We really appreciate you. We appreciate your sacrifice and your dedication to our children.
That's right. And school starts tomorrow here in Martin County. So I know I'm looking at the calendar, scratching my head, trying to figure out how the summer has passed us by. So I echo that, Gary. Big shout out to our teachers, our support staff, our administrators, and really the boots on the ground that make such a big difference in our kids' lives every single day.
And please be careful out there driving in the school zones. Put your bloody phones down.
That's right.
Stop texting and be careful. Our children are out there walking on the streets. It is horrific, some of the things that I've seen in school zones, and people are just not paying attention. Please, and I'll say it one more time, please pay attention. Tom, you going to say something?
I echo what you were going to say. You and I were thinking the same thing, because those kids are out there, and I can't tell you how many times I think that could be my child, and I see some idiot just zooming by, many times with the phone in their hand, texting or whatnot. So be careful.
John, would you give your contact information one more time again, how they can reach your office?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call my legislative office throughout the day at 772-210-5626. Again, 772-210-5626.
All right, so we're going to do our quote of the day, and we're going to bring Representative Snyder back here in just a second. Hope is like the sun, which as we journey toward it, casts the shadow of our burden behind us.
Nice.
All right, so a fun health fact. Tom, why don't you take the fun health fact, and then real quick we're going to do a few of those fun facts about the Treasure Coast and put Representative Snyder back in the hot seat.
Did you know that there are 2.5 trillion...
Trillion? Is that with a B or a T?
With a T like Tom. 2.5 trillion red blood cells in your body at any moment. To maintain this number, about 2.5 million M like Mary. New ones need to be produced every second by your bone marrow. That's like a new population of the city of Toronto, T like Tom, every second.
Isn't that
That
amazing?
is amazing.
That's a lot of red blood cells.
I did not know it. Producing every second 2.5 million new red blood cells every second.
All right, let's see. Did you know
How do they count that?
that the Treasure Coast, do you know why the Treasure Coast is called the Treasure Coast, John?
The sunken treasure from the pirate ship
How
sitting
many
off our
ships?
coast. Ooh. That's a good one.
17.
11 out of 12 ships sunk of the Spanish galleon. So, so that's why. And which
How
counties?
many have been found?
So the question I
How much
had,
gold is still there?
the question I had
More
is how much
importantly.
gold has not yet been recovered? Right? I mean,
Gold
God
fever.
knows there's got to be some stuff out
Gosh.
there. There's got to be. Maybe we could all do a scuba diving trip one day and see what we can find. Patty could take pictures
Absolutely.
of us as we
After
splash
a
around in the
storm,
water.
yeah.
So it's called the Treasure Coast. 3 counties, right? Martin, St. Lucie, and
Indian River.
okay, very good. The county to our south, Palm Beach, is called what?
Palm
What
Beach.
coast? We're called the Treasure Coast. Palm Beach is called the
Ooh. Gold.
Gold Coast. Patty
Gold.
got that one.
Wow. Don't.
Good job. Patty.
Hopefully,
Well, he's not
Hopefully
a
my
representative
pun-
on Palm Beach. Well,
I
yeah,
am.
you got
I
a
was
little
about
bit.
to
You got
say.
Jupiter,
Yeah,
don't you?
You got Jupiter?
apologize to my
Okay,
Jupiter
go ahead and strike that
constituents.
last one. Let's see. Okay, Brevard County is called what coast?
Space Coast.
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
Do you represent the Space Coast?
I do not.
Oh, but the Gold
Got
Coast.
some good
you
friends
do.
up there, though.
Yes, we do.
That's it.
You got family in the Space Coast,
Yeah,
Tom.
I grew up in the Space Coast.
All right,
Melbourne.
so between the Treasure Coast, Martin, St. Lucie, and River counties, what do you think the combined population is?
Say 380,000.
Wow, you're way off. What do you think it is, Tom? Oh, never. He's looking. Patty, what do you think it is?
I was about to say
A million?
480. I'm going to take it up to 480.
Do you have an idea, Evan? No. 682,000 population.
that 1,000 people a day is adding up.
Well, actually, that number has gone down, Tom, to like 830, 840 a day.
Okay, that's
It's gone
right.
down.
Controlled.
And how many people are
Sustainable.
vacating Florida a day?
7. 10. Shouldn't be any.
All,
Out of the Treasure Coast or statewide?
hopefully the criminals.
You said these were going to be easy, Tom.
Yeah. Criminal. Yeah, these
A
are not
couple
easy.
hundred are leaving the
How
state
many?
of Florida. A couple hundred are leaving the state of Florida every
Well,
day.
hopefully they're the criminals.
I'd like
right?
to. I want to
Long
fact
action.
check that.
Yeah, you
let's
can fact check that. We'll come back. We'll get you back on the show again. All right, so Tom, take number 3
The Florida.
and ask him what it is.
Okay, Mr. Snyder, do you know what the Florida state tree is?
For some reason, I want to say it's the magnolia tree. Let's see.
The
What do you think it is?
Well,
I'll give you a second chance.
I can't
It's
cheat.
not the
I can't
magnolia
cheat.
tree.
I'm thinking back to my fourth grade.
Right.
Florida assignment here. Now I do remember it is the sable palm.
Okay.
Sable
All right.
palm. And the state flower is the orange.
The blossom, yes, the
Orange
orange
blossom.
blossom.
And the
Okay.
state bird is the. I'm gonna buy me.
A mockingbird. I'm trying to. We've got all our state facts. So here I can, as of this last legislative session, Gary and Tom, we'll do a little role reversal for double or nothing.
Witcheroo.
All right. As of 2022, what is the official Florida state dessert?
Key lime pie.
Wrong. Both of you. Key lime pie.
Maybe you.
That is the
Oh,
state
no,
pie.
wait. Strawberry shortcake.
That is correct.
Yes,
we now
strawberry
have, we
shortcake.
have two.
Yes.
We have an official dessert and an
Yes,
official
I remember
pie, and there was
right.
actually quite some controversy about that. We had our
people from Plant City.
the strawberry caucus was up working hard, and our
Giving
friends
out
down
free
in the Keys
strawberries,
weren't so
apparently.
happy about that, but
Bribing them.
came to a mutual agreement. It was for a
All right,
good
so
cause.
what's the largest lake on the Treasure Coast?
Oh, on the Treasure Coast. Oh, well,
It's an I'll give you a hint. It's in Indian River County.
These
I don't
are
know.
Not easy.
Blue
Bayou?
Cypress.
okay.
Blue Cypress Lake is the largest on the Treasure Coast with over 6,500 acres, 8-foot average depth, and 21-mile shoreline.
I mean, again, I would take that to the fact checkers because Martin County does extend all the way to Lake Okeechobee. It has to be Lake Okeechobee because that is in the Treasure Coast.
But technically, they don't include Okeechobee County as part of the Treasure Coast.
I would just. But
I get
technically,
you. I get you. I know.
the lake
I know you
does-
always
the
want to
lake
win,
does touch
and I love
Martin
that. You
County.
should always want to win.
Remapping, right?
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's the most scenic drive on the Treasure Coast? And it's here in Martin County.
Well, I would say out the grade.
Absolutely.
710,
Absolutely. But I think that's more subjective than anything else.
That's good.
But I think it is.
Just like the largest lake was. Too.
That's right. Can't be verified. Cannot be
Well,
verified.
I've done my due
Martin
diligence.
County does touch Lake Okeechobee.
It does touch it. But anyway, we'll digress.
That wasn't even my answer.
We'll digress. Let's see. Do you know Vero Beach is home to one of the world famous aircraft manufacturers? Do you know?
Piper.
Yeah,
All
very
right.
good. Very good.
Good.
I've flown a Piper before, so they're a nice aircraft. Let's see. What's the largest city on the Treasure Coast?
Port St. Lucie.
Would it be easy?
Yes.
What's the population, you think?
I was way off of my population numbers earlier. I'd say for
Time
Port
to redeem
St.
yourself.
Lucie, Oh, let's go with 200,000.
Very good. 218.
All right.
Very
I
good.
remember when it was just breaking 100,000.
Yeah.
And that was a big,
Unreal.
big deal.
What's the smallest city on the Treasure Coast?
Oh, that would be Ocean Breeze. Jupiter.
St. Lucie Village.
Okay.
Population of 617. We
Do
were
they
talking
have a
about
mayor?
Yeah. Every village has a mayor.
Okay.
I think so. I'm guessing. I don't know. We were talking about the Indian River Lagoon, one of the most biodiverse estuaries, and then do we know? I couldn't find this. How many beaches are there on the Treasure Coast? Even in Martin County, I don't
think
even
there's
know.
one.
How
and they
many?
chopped them all up and named
There are a lot of beaches.
There are a lot of beaches.
A lot of beaches. Tom, we're gonna skip our this day in
Okay,
history since we're
that's
out of
fine.
time. I want to. Oh, by the way, a famous birthday. One of my favorite actors.
Oh, I love him.
He played We Were Soldiers once.
And he
He
played
played-
in Tombstone.
Did you ever see that movie?
Yes, we were soldiers.
Sam Elliott,
Ah.
77 today. Happy birthday, Sam Elliott.
Happy birthday, Sammy.
All right, scams. 2022, the hottest scams of 2022. I'm going to give you the top 6. A couple weeks ago, I spoke about an FPL scam. My parents, my mom, became a victim of, and they'll call you and tell you that your electric is about to be shut off because you did not pay your electric bill. So don't be like my poor mom who listened to their nonsense and gave them her credit card information, banking information, and now she has wreaked havoc on their lives right now. So be careful, people. The second one is the Google Voice scam. So I'm sure most of you are on Facebook. You've posted something online, like an item for sale or a lost pet. And a crook will contact you showing interest and will want to verify that you are not a scammer. Pretty cool. And will tell you to look out for a verification code from Google Voice and ask you to read it back to them. So what's happening is that they're setting up a Google Voice account in your name and can perpetrate scams and pretend to be you and hiding their footprint from law enforcement. So be careful. That's number one. Number two is a favor for a friend gift card. We all see it all the time. So be careful about those. Most people aren't going to call you and say, hey, I need a gift card. I get those emails all the time. It's ridiculous. 3 is local tax imposters in law enforcement, right? So scammers are impersonating law enforcement and tax collection agencies to get you to share sensitive and personal information or to send money to settle your tax debt or to say that there is a warrant out for your arrest. I loved it when someone called to tell me I had a warrant out for my arrest. Being a former law enforcement officer, I had fun with that individual. But anyway, so be careful with that. Police or tax, IRS is not going to call you and threaten you. So just tell them to pound sand and hang up the phone. Tom, number 4 is?
I don't know.
You don't have it. So cryptocurrency. I thought I gave that to you. Sorry.
People saying, I'm Gary Owen, and I've got insurance to sell you. Please meet me at the office. Gary, would you ever do that?
I would never do that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's just number 4.
Cryptocurrency, ATM payments. So I don't know much about cryptocurrency, but it has certainly taken the world by storm. ATMs are cropping up in convenience stores, gas stations, and big retailers and scammers' newest payment method. So be careful with that. And then the 6th one is fake Amazon employees. So have you ever done business with Amazon?
I do not want to admit what my front door looks like sometimes, but it's not me. We do have an Amazon shopper in my house.
A third of business imposter fraud complaints involve scammers claiming they're from Amazon. Older adults are 4 times more likely to lose money and get hit harder financially. These impersonator scams feel real to people because Amazon is the biggest and best-known company in online sales space. So be careful of that. Tom, real quick, I know we only have like 4 minutes left. First of all, before the drug stuff, I want to give some great news to Medicare beneficiaries out there. Last year, the premium, your Part B premium went up from the base premium went from $148.50 to $170.10. It was the biggest jump in the history of Medicare. And the result and the reason for that was because of the drug Aduhelm. Cost $56,000. There was a big uproar. The drug company cut it in half to $28,000 and was going to use for senile dementia patients and so forth. So that ended up being narrowed to a few group of people. So that drug cost did not come into the equation for Part B. So now what's going to happen for 2023 is that they're expecting the Part B premium to decrease. My guess is we'll probably go around $160. We'll come back and we'll keep you posted and see if I'm correct on that number. But I'm going to guess about $160. So you're going to have a decrease in your Part B premium. That's good news. Also,
so they went from $56,000 to $28,000. Isn't that generous?
Yeah, that's really generous.
And it cost them about $100 to make. No, I don't know how much it costs to make, so I can't say or the research. And I heard its effectiveness is questionable.
Very questionable.
Very questionable.
Unfortunately.
So expensive drugs that don't work.
We're not going to talk about the Part D, but I want to share
America.
something. I told you I was going to share something with you about what's coming down from CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, are now, because of all the complaints from J.J. Walker, William Shatner, and Hall of Famer Joe Namath. Thank you, guys. These pitchmen are on TV and trying to get consumers. It's a misleading commercial, and they're trying to get consumers to call this 800 number in a call center and signing up on a certain Medicare Advantage HMO plan. So, unfortunately, all these complaints, now CMS had a knee-jerk reaction. Instead of penalizing these scumbags that are calling you, these call centers, so they are now penalizing people like Tom and I who are independent agents. They're calling us TPMOs, third-party marketing organizations. Now they're requiring us, all agents across the country, to record all conversations with their clients, inbound, outbound, store them for 10 years, and be HIPAA compliant. This is what's happening. That goes into effect October 1. So we're fighting. We're talking to our congressmen, our senators. We're trying to talk to CMS. They want nothing. They don't want to hear it. This is bad stuff. Independent agents are the ones that are out there working on your behalf to make sure that we do the right thing for you. These call centers, my piece of advice for you this coming AEP season, do not adhere or listen to those TV commercials. Do not call those 800 numbers. What we're finding out now is those people that call those 800 numbers, 40% are involved now in rapid disenrollment from those plans because they realize that it's not the plan for them. So be careful, be cognizant. If you got a question, call us at Owen Insurance Group at 772-210-1020, and we appreciate you taking time to be with us today. John, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate you. We support you. Let us know what it is that you might need from us.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Tom. Great to be with you all, and again, congratulations on 5 years.
All right, thank you. And next week, our special guest is going to be Annette Robbins. She's the executive emissary for Corked Wine Bar, and Tom and I will continue to espouse the knowledge that we have and help you to have enhance your quality of life. Thanks for being with us today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, Treasure Coast, stay safe, keep healthy, be happy, and enjoy your quality of life.